been messing around with Google Maps and Google Earth and trying to figure out a way to do more with that data and get it into, um, we have all this cool 3D data, but there's no real access to it. There's no easy way to export out that elevation data, at least as far as I can tell. I mean, there are tools. There's one called Cinema4D. There's these plugins. There's definitely ways to do it, but I kind of wanted a more DIY way, a simpler way to do it. Something like this is going to give you all kinds of options, and a motion graphics person might find value in downloading this, but someone who doesn't do as much 3D stuff for his job but likes 3D and does use it quite a bit, this just is a better workaround. So yeah, so basically we have all this data here in all this elevation data. There's so much awesome info here, and we could do so much with it if we could bring it into a 3D program. So and the trick to do that, so I'm going to go to or to Bend, Arizona, and we will use this here. A lot of cool elevation data in this Colorado River Canyon. Again, this is awesome here, but why? We'll restart or something. But yeah, like this, having this data and being able to do something cool like this in Cinema4D, or being able to 3D print this would be awesome. This tutorial, I'm just going to talk about how to get this data into Cinema4D. I'll do another tutorial on how to get the textures in, and then another one on how to actually export it out and prep it for other programs. So really, the only secret is this. It's this terrain.party app. Yeah, here it is, queued up to save some time. This app, actually, let me just refresh it and show you. So this is this free open source app that is pretty impressive. It generates these DEM files, which I haven't been able to. I did this for a job a number of years ago, and I had to call my cartography buddy to have him generate these files, and just because I couldn't find a good resource for these. But here we go. Let's see, where are we here? So what are we doing? Page. Arizona. Okay. So let's shrink this down. Just resizing stuff. I had it at 10. There we go. So that's the area we're going to. That's the region that we're going to generate these DEM files from. So as soon as we're good there, we click download, and I'm going to call this Horseshoe. Just takes a second to download. There it is. And what we get are all of these different versions of these elevation files, data files. They're all slightly different. Some are lower res, some are higher res. This README walks through what each of them does, but really we just want this merged because that's the highest detail image. So come into here, and so I'm in Cinema. Let's load that in. We can load it in a number of different ways. There's the relief object, there's the landscape object, but rather than get into those specific objects, I just want to work at the basic level with basic textures and basic planes, because really at the end of the day, we want to export this out into, we want to create a mesh, and so we want to keep it as simple as possible. So here's our plane. Let's go back here. This was the size here is 1081 by 1081. So let's make this plane the same. So it's 1081 by 1081, and we'll increase these to a higher number. We'll look at that in a second. But really that's it. So we just now put a texture on here. Here it is. Here's our material editor. We're going to turn off the reflectance. We're going to load in this displacement, load in the DEM file into this displacement channel. So there's intensity centered. They're about the same. I've had better luck with intensity, but I don't think it matters too much. I'm not totally sure even what those differences are. But I'm here. I come into, click on the merged one. We see it there. Let's increase this to, I don't know, 55 is probably good. Now if I render this, what's going to happen? It's nothing really happens, right? It's kind of there, but that's not good. And so what's happening is we have these, here, if I go up to grass shading lines, we can see there's only 40 by 40 polygons, and that's not really enough for us to get any real significant detail. I could change this to 100 by 100, increasing it quite a bit. I do that, and you see we get more detail. But we don't want to actually do all that. We don't want to keep loading in polygons. So we have different ways to do it. We come into this displacement channel, and we have our sub-polygon displacement. What that does is, it's basically the subdivision. It's the same thing as the subdivision up here, but it's in a channel. It's in a material channel. So all we do is turn that on. We can leave it at level 4. Notice I changed these back to the lower number. We click that, and voila, that's about it. So I'll go through next how to texture this. There's not an easy way to get the textures. I'll walk through that in another tutorial, another video, and then go from then kind of show how to actually get this. Because notice this mesh is now still, it's flat. This is just simulated data, and there's no real way to get that out without generating a new mesh from this displacement channel. So I'll go over that in a future video.